And here, at the present time, what they're doing, they want to get rid of Moruga people working so much that they're employing people in Moruga to work in the Ministry of Works, Highways, and Drainage Division. It is 5 years now. They employ a single soul from Moruga in these places, and here, these places has vacancies. Because if you drive to Moruga and you see roads that is not maintained, drain that is not maintained, it is because the government, it is because the PNM failed to employ the people to do the job, creating hardship for Moruga. Yeah. Brothers and sisters, if we know it good, the PNM only puts action and does action that is going to take us backward. Because like an old man told me the other day, he says since the PNM gained independence and going to power, the only thing happened to Trinidad and Tobago is that here, they're driving a car without any forward gear, they're only reversing. It is only reverse the PNM given. Brothers and sisters, when you look at it carefully, if they're maintaining the access roads for agriculture in Moruga, how could we live? And that's a critical thing. Employment was going to be substituted in Moruga by people working in the land. But you have no road. And who again? The PNM. Yeah. The PNM, present PNM today, only does one thing for Moruga. They only create hardship and more hardship for Moruga. And the time has come that we in Moruga are saying, enough is enough. And here, under our young and vibrant MP, we is going to ensure and take Moruga from that state, because here my MP is led by a person who has care for people and loves this nation. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Messiah Batiste. Our next speaker is a dynamic young man who is a fighter for the needs of his burgees. He is passionate about the development of St. Mary's Tableland and the lives of his burgees. Please welcome Councillor for St. Mary's Tableland, Tylan Farrell.
Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, my fellow members of council, members of national executive, and the entire nation of Trinidad and Tobago, a warm and pleasant good night. I stand before you here tonight, plagued by some of the hurt, plights, and suffering that the PNM government has done to our residents through our agriculture process. I stand here to expound on some of our agricultural struggles in the electoral district of Hindustan St. Mary's. As for me, being a son of the soil of St. Mary's, I would start here firstly. As residents of St. Mary's, we would have heard over the years the rumors of the agricultural food processing plant to be constructed. However, it was constructed, only to realize that it was just another misuse of taxpayers' dollar, nothing but another white elephant. I say this because we, the people of St. Mary's and Tableland, especially the farmers, would have sat day after day, night after night, and would have exhausted all the profits from this marvelous agricultural processing plant. The profound impact it would have had on people with regards to creating job opportunities for persons, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic. Continuous food supply in the homes of those some people now deem to see as less fortunate, and most importantly, attracting external investments and stimulating economic growth. This is so much to expound on with such short time. But what can I say? Another great opportunity for us to help ourselves out of the condition that we are in. But however, the plan stands there collecting dust. I wonder if it's because the UNC won the Moruga Tableland seat at our nation's last general election. Is the PNM the reason? Is the PNM reason behind this? If that's the reason why, may God have mercy on us. If this is not an outrage, then I call on the PNM government to tell me what is. The Pine Farmers Association of the Tableland district. For how many years has the Brickfield packaging house in Tabakid have been sitting there, generating no type of jobs or work for citizens or income, or being of any kind of asset to the farmers of this country? I have also done relevant research to my electoral district, and I was shocked to know that after our farmers spent such time and effort and money on fertilizers, only for the end results to be that the larger percentage of their crops remain in the field. Reason being due to the COVID-19 pandemic, citizens are out of jobs. As a result, citizens can't consume produce from our farmers. As for farmers, their livelihood and means of generating income have collapsed on a great scale. I am sure if these processing plants were up and functional, the outcome of most would have been different financially. Last but not least, for me tonight, of course, the Moruga fishing program. Time and time again, I have heard the cries of the ambitious fishermen of Moruga. They go out at sea, sometimes at night, would sometimes stay out at sea for hours upon hours, tired, hungry, and stressed, only to realize that the fish caught is only enough to put back in gas to try another tide. Why have you, the PNM government, stopped the production of regular gas that used to be beneficial solely to the fish industry? Why has this incompetent PNM government removed the gas subsidy? Was it done to cripple the poor man further? I ask. Furthermore, I have also heard on several occasions that there were murders of some of these fishermen that go out to make an honest dollar and would have encountered what they now refer to as modern-day pirates. What about the student who lost his life at sea? To my brother and sons who lost their life at sea, may your souls rest in peace. They would sometimes hijack these fishermen and throw them overboard. I want to believe where protection and service to our citizens should be extended, should it not be extended to our ambitious and brave fishermen at sea? I conclude by asking, what kind of government is this? It's time we be the change we want to see and give power back to the UNC under the stewardship of none other than the Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her dynamic team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tylon Farrell, the Councillor for Hindustan St. Mary's. Our next speaker is a young and vibrant councillor with a passion for environmental protection, innovation, education, and a determination to empower his fellow citizens. He is enthusiastic about the development of lengua Indian work and improvement of the quality of life for all Burgess. Please welcome to the podium Councillor for Lengua Indian Work, Councillor Rajesh Lal.
Thank you, Shazina. Honorable political leader, Kamala Prasad Bisesa of Senior Council, colleagues on the platform tonight, those viewing us from the comfort of your homes. Good evening, and thank you for welcoming us into your homes. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, should have been a night for me to report on the great strides we are making in Lingua Indian work. Tonight should have been for me to tell you how we are progressing, how we are positively impacting lives, how we are delivering to the Burgesses. But my friends, this is an almost impossible task under the heavy-handed incompetence of this PNM administration. When you ask anybody in my district, or anybody in this country for that matter, the sentiment is always the same. The struggle is real. You see, in Trinidad and Tobago, there are people who do not have jobs, people who are not working, and those who are working, they are not making a living. They are merely struggling to survive. But I don't need to tell you about that tonight. You know it. We know it. This feeling in this country of oppression, depression, that PNM heaviness stalking this land like a plague worse than COVID-19. Can you remember what it was like to go to the grocery and buy 3 months' groceries one time? Do you remember a time when buying snacks for your children wasn't considered a luxury? When they came into office in 2015, they beat their chest and boasted that they will reduce VAT to 12.5%. No problem. They want to claim that as an achievement. But do you know that over 7,000 food items that the UNC removed VAT from altogether, you now pay an extra 12.5% in VAT? Only under the PNM they could reduce VAT and you end up paying more. That is PNM logic. The fact is, under Kamala's government, you could have left the grocery with a shopping cart overflowing with items. Now with that same money, you're leaving with just a handful of goods. And to add insult to injury, they persecute the man on the ground with the burden of removing the fuel subsidy, immediately increasing transport prices. And you don't need a genius to tell you, when you increase transport prices, everything goes up. Everything is increasing from prices to blood pressure under this PNM government, except your salary. You could imagine there are employees in this country who are in the public service that are still receiving a 2007 salary while they have to keep up with 2021 struggles. It even gets worse. You think about the struggle for Uncle in Madingo Road with the differently abled daughter, or Tanti in Indian Walk with the bedridden husband. Any caring and responsible government will do all in its power to ease the burden on its citizens. But under this regime, they seem to seize any opportunity to place more strain on the people. This government has made it their sole mission to dismantle the social safety net. And you know what? Mission accomplished. People cannot access disability grants. They cannot access education grants for their children. And even in their time of grief and despair, they cannot access funeral grants to properly send off their loved ones who has passed on. And if that is not bad enough, this government is playing with your children's future. When they decided to move classes online just over a year ago and didn't stop to think there are children who did not have the ability to access these classes. 1 year later, they are now rushing to see how they can obtain these devices for these children. You remember when they dismantled Kamala's laptop program? Well, there's a saying, you never miss the water till the well run dry. And you know the process for applying for these devices closely resembles the process that persons had to endure for the COVID-19 relief grant just over a year ago. How many of you are still waiting for this grant? Today, the Prime Minister announced new lockdown measures that will remain in effect until May 23rd. As of midnight tonight, thousands of persons will not know where their next paycheck is coming from. Thousands of persons will not have a job until May 23rd at least. They will be left in limbo with the feeling of uncertainty, and the government has no clue on how to quell their fears or make the situation better for them. All across my district, people are singing the same song. When Kamala was Prime Minister, life was easier. And that is true talk. Now, Lengua Indian Walk, like the rest of the country, is overburdened with unattended issues. Imagine in the past, there was Madingo Road. When there was a road, that is, and now it's known as Madingo Landslide. At every turn in my district, there is a landslide. And we now see a new trend emerging where people are willing to assist with public infrastructural development, which is where their taxpayers' dollars should have been going in the first place. But how much of the government's job can people continue to do? Everyone is feeling the financial pinch. People can barely afford bread and butter, much less for brick and mortar. So brothers and sisters, we could stand up here and compare PNM and UNC till thy kingdom come. But it's chalk and cheese. The fact is Kamala run a better government than Rowley ever will. The fact is life was better for everyone under the UNC. The fact is your children's future was secure under Kamala's government. The fact is our country was prospering with UNC at the helm. And brothers and sisters, facts are stubborn things because they do not change. We can sit idly by and allow the PNM to continue to destroy our nation, or we can stand up and we can speak out so that we can give our children a fighting chance. And while the choice is clear, my friends, the choice is yours. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, I urge you to choose wisely. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rajesh Lau. Representing the unique electoral district of Moruga, he is young, committed, action-oriented, and people-centered. With over 9 years of community service, Councillor Lawrence is currently serving his second term in office, which spanned from November 2016 to present. He is also the holder of an associate degree from Cipriani College of Labor and Cooperative Studies, and also a holder of Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Greenwich in field of occupational safety, health and environment. Let's welcome to the podium Councillor Joseph Lawrence.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, for such an introduction. The Honorable Political Leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Opposition Leader of the United National Congress, Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland, Ms. Michelle Benjamin, Members of Council at the Princeton Regional Corporation, to you, the viewing public online. My UNC family, good evening, and welcome to True Talk Thursday, where we give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. As chairman of the Personnel Committee at the Princeton Regional Corporation, I am duty-bound to report to you, the people of the municipality of Princeton, and the general public, based on our current state of affairs, as a result of limited funding made available by central government to the Princeton Regional Corporation, whereby cuts seem to be the order of the day as it relates to releases on allocation under personal expenditure to the Princeton Regional Corporation. For the financial year ending September 2018 to 2019, our allocation of $57,398,000, with releases of $56,968,000, $236, a total reduction of $412,764. However, for the financial year ending 2019 to 2020, our allocation was $58,990,000, with a release of $53,697,115, which saw a reduction of $5,292,885. Meanwhile, for the financial year September 2020 to 2021, our allocation is $30,640,355, with releases to date being $30,778,700. Therefore, under the astute leadership of Chairman of Council, Councillor Gory Rupnerang, the Princeton Regional Corporation was forced to employ innovative approach towards securing jobs and saving families. During this trying time, as a caring organization, stated by our organization's motto, service with commitment and compassion, we opted to rotate our current cadre of casual workers using a 10 days in, 10 days out system as a means of preventing major job losses, ensuring no families were left behind. A real-life situation of the famous saying, half a loaf is better than none. As the councillor for the electoral district of Moruga, major emphasis was also made to empower our local farmers affected by the current COVID-19 pandemic, whereby on Friday, 18 December 2020, we officially opened the Moruga Market Facility, creating history which saw the employment of approximately 50 persons, both directly and indirectly. Built in 1997 under the former Pandey administration, which is now home to a range of unique products distinct to Moruga, such as the famous Moruga scorpion pepper and the Moruga hill rice, all reasonably priced. That is true talk, ladies and gentlemen. Adding to our local economic development through our visionary leadership, we recently established the Moruga Tourism Committee with an aim of highlighting and promoting what the Moruga district have to offer the country and by extension the world. From the historical Marak Talik, the Lalun Rocky River, the controversial Christopher Columbus statue located in Grand Chimay, the Moruga Buff in Edward Trace, the famous Lansmither Spring Bridge which is in dire need of repairs, and the scenic beaches in Moruga. The establishment of tour guides and local hikes, fishing tours is another important part of local economic development, encouraging entrepreneurship. In turn, are income generators to empower our youths, entrepreneurs who are either overqualified or jobless. From the traditional taste of Keisha dirt oven in Marak to the sweet taste of sherry preserve in Lalun, creating a sense of independence. That is true talk, ladies and gentlemen. Praise must also be given to the late statesman, former Member of Parliament from Moruga Tableland, Mr. Clifton Dikoto, for his vision under the leadership of then Prime Minister Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa with reference to the Larafin fishing landing site, which was constructed in the year 2014 with the Lansmither fishermen in mind, who today have a safe space for the repairs of nets damaged by fishermen out at sea. And that is true talk, ladies and gentlemen. In addition, with reference to the amount of drowning which occurred over the recently concluded Easter weekend on popular beaches similar to that of the Moruga Beach facility, as chairman of the Tourism Committee, I am now calling on the new Minister of National Security, Mr. Fitzgerald Hines, to address this important matter concerning the provision of lifeguards as a matter of urgency, because one life lost is one life too many, whereby numerous correspondence was sent to the Permanent Secretary, dated as recent as April 14, 2021, lobbying for lifeguards at a local popular beaches after a series of drowning which claimed the lives of 5 persons to date. This too can be viewed as a source of employment opportunities for the youths of Moruga Tableland in order to have sustainable jobs and a steady income. That is true talk, ladies and gentlemen. Hence, in all these initiatives highlighted, drastically reduce our high unemployment rate, in addition assist with the reduction of criminal activities, because at present we have educated thieves roaming our streets with doctorates, masters, and bachelor's degrees, whom are either underemployed, working in popular food outlets for approximately $2,500 per month just to make ends meet. Our unemployed, based on lack of visionary leadership, after investing thousands of dollars into their personal education, who, as a result of circumstances, may now be forced to engage in criminal activities just to feed their families in these tough economic times, which in 2021 should never be an option as a result of the oil boom as in terms of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. For instance, in the case of certified welder Mr. Philip, who is in dire need of a job to provide for his family and is currently fed up of running around begging for a job. Or in the case of Mr. Lopez, who claimed every day he visits the Moruga fishing port job site, begging for a job just to maintain his wife and newborn baby. Take, for instance, Ms. John, who is a holder of a master's degree in business administration, but have to settle for a job as a cashier in a fast food outlet. So the big question is, are we a forgotten constituency after August 10th, 2020? Or were we, the people of Moruga Tableland, bubblees in your eyes whereby we can just be beaten around election time with false promises? The question must be asked. Therefore, I hereby call on the government of the day to focus on the people who continue to suffer daily, begging for sustainable employment opportunities just to make ends meet. And that is true talk, ladies and gentlemen. One must never forget that under the leadership of Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, via the green, blue, and silver economies, policies were created for economic diversification, which would have created new jobs opportunities so that everyone in Trinidad and Tobago would be willing to work hard and have benefited from the economic growth and prosperity based on our land, water, and people. As I conclude, according to our country's motto, together we aspire, together we achieve. We are united for one common cause. We are united for one common goal, and that is to have Trinidad and Tobago working together again. Now is the time to stand up in order to stand out. Because according to Martin Luther King Jr., and I quote, our lives begin to end the day we became silent about things that matter. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Councillor Laurent. Born and raised in the pristine community of St. Mary's Village, she attended St. Mary's Government Primary and the Cohen Hamilton Secondary School. She started her tertiary education at the School of Accounting and Management and then at the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine. Having earned a bachelor's degree of science in biology and environmental and natural resource management, her passion to serve her community evolved exponentially. She served on the Village Council, the Baptist Union of Trinidad and Tobago, chairperson of the executive, and then in the capacity as a local government practitioner from the year 2016 to 2020. She believes in the philosophy that service to man is service to God, and it is of utter importance. She stands with her constituents through thick and thin. She is instrumental in keeping the government on its toes to assist her constituents, from infrastructural development to employment to the betterment of her community. It is with great pleasure I introduce to the podium none other than the hard-working, dedicated, and vibrant Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland, Miss Michelle Benjamin.
Good night. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I'd like to say a pleasant good night to all the members of the United National Congress that is locked on and viewing. A pleasant good night to my esteemed political leader, the Honorable Ms. Kamla Prasad Bisesa. A pleasant good night to all my councillors and aldermen here tonight and all the hard-working members of the team of the Princestown Regional Corporation underneath the guidance and leadership of our chairman, Gori Rupnarain. My fellow members of Parliament and concerned members of the viewing public, tonight we are here on True Talk, and we are going to hear True Talk. I'm going to paint a picture of Moruga Tableland. It's been 6 years that this PNM government have been in power, and Moruga Tableland is no different. Nothing has changed. All we have is broken promises. Allow me please tonight on True Talk to take you on a journey in Moruga Tableland the hidden jewel of the south of Trinidad, as we are fondly referred to. As you venture along this trail, you will see the fauna, the flora, the expansive plantations, the world-renowned scorpion pepper, as referred to by Councillor Joseph Laurent, the Moruga Museum, our beautiful historical and heritage sites, our recreation grounds named after our sporting heroes, and we can go on and on about the beauty of Moruga Tableland. But Moruga Tableland is home to many landslips. Why? Because we are neglected by this government. The infrastructure in Moruga Tableland is long crying out for repairs. Only promises are received. If you visit my constituency and along your journey you stop and you speak to a resident, the smile that you're greeted with is a smile that is hiding the socio-economic challenges that is being faced. A smile that is hiding the cry on the ground. A cry that from 12 tonight is going to be further echoed in more households. As of 12 tonight, persons are going to be without jobs. But this PNM government is saying there is no funding for support. There is no funding to assist businesses. There is no funding to assist individuals. There is no funding to assist single parents. How are we to survive? You think after having a prime minister come out of being infected with COVID-19, we would have gained someone with a little more compassion. But 2:30, he stood on the nation airways and said, there is no funding to assist you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, Moruga Tableland. So Moruga Tableland will be further neglected. Promises yet again made to assist in repairing the infrastructure will be broken. We had the Minister of Work giving commitments. 3 weeks, Madingo will be fixed. Within 3 weeks, Lengua would start. Within 3 weeks, the Naparima Miara Road, you would see a new retaining wall. But this, we know, will be broken promises. As always, COVID-19 will bear the blame. But when would this government bear the blame? Trinidad and Tobago, when will enough be enough? Let us further investigate some of the other infrastructural issues which are plaguing Moruga Tableland constituency. We are faced with an old WASA infrastructure. Water is a necessity of life, but today it is regarded a luxury that constituents are not afforded. What is afforded? We receive the bill, but we don't receive the water in our pipelines. Tableland is crying out. Barkpo is neglected. Parts of Moruga go without for months. Tableland needs water right now. I'm calling on the Minister of Public Utilities. Please hear the cries of my constituents. Water is a necessity. It is not a luxury. Some residents are still awaiting electrical connections. 6 years of PNM rule. We have children home. They have to do online school, but they have no resources. 6 years of PNM rule, but they are blaming COVID. Again, we are plagued by this PNM government. As Councillor Rajesh Lal rightfully pointed out, the PNM government is a far worse pandemic than COVID-19. The irrefutable proof can be seen as there is lack of action being taken by any ministry. Every ministry is saying that they have no funding. Why? Because the finance minister does not see it fit to assist the people of Trinidad and Tobago, only the friends and family of the PNM. How long would we stand for this? We are in 2021. And yet we are being neglected. Monies are being allocated and they cannot be accounted for. I would like to draw reference to a newspaper article. This is the Newsday, This was printed on the 5th of October 2017, where $178 million was awarded to the Moruga Tableland roadway. It was said that the Moruga road from Pitikafe to Marak would be completed by 2019. We are in 2021. Our roadway reflects $178, not $178 million. Where has the money gone? In the pockets of the finances. Moruga Tableland, let's stand up against that. We in Moruga Tableland are neglected. Our security is put at risk. Our shorelines are left unmanned. Why? Because, again, no releases to the TTPS to do their job. But my constituents and my fisher folk have to face it going out there in the seas and being unprotected. And we will not address how many illegal immigrants are coming in. I am calling on the Minister of Finance to mobilize assets which are hindering the effective operation of the TTPS. Allow the police officers to do their jobs. I want to take you to our children. Moruga Tableland is a rural constituency. But the children of Trinidad and Tobago have all been affected. But the children of Moruga Tableland, I feel, have been affected the most. For parents are unable to purchase the devices. We depend on corporate citizens. As of the 30th of this month, we have parents on a race to fill out a means form with no guarantee that they will still be able to access the devices. And yet, this government would have said devices for all in the budget. What happens to the children in Moruga Tableland? Our children are experiencing numerous challenges with the online schooling, with health benefits, self-awareness, and mental health. Parents cannot afford to put food on their tables. We are asking the Minister of Social Development to hear the cries. We are asking that grants be afforded to these families so that the children can benefit. How can you lock down a country again and not make the necessary provisions? How can you lock down a country and not put a proper economic plan in place? Had it been Kamla Prasad Bisesa, this would have been done. And now I take you to the young adults. You would have heard Mr. Messiah Batiste refer to the unemployment rate in Moruga Tableland. And he would have quoted it at 85%. As of tonight, I would say it's 95%. 95% of my young people in Moruga Tableland will be unemployed. Those that are dependent on the OJT will have to face the fact that OJT is operating on a merit system, on a listing that they have only reached, I believe, is 2014. Where are the children of Moruga Tableland to gain jobs? The youths are quite disenchanted. They see a stagnant economy that is hampered by a P&M politics and feel hopeless. Furthermore, the youths of my area just have a piece of paper and no opportunities to improve their socio-economic challenges that are inherent to Moruga Tableland. Just imagine, Moruga produced Marissa Aguilera, Samuel Badri. Our youth are vibrant and they deserve better. This government has given promises of free accessible Wi-Fi and devices. But as I told you before, has not materialized in our constituency. The Minister of Finance said Wi-Fi services are readily available in Moruga Tableland. The Minister of Finance, I call on you. This is not so. And we need you to release the finances to make this a reality. Children are home. children cannot access the online school. In areas like Platinate, schools are not operating because they do not have the facilities to do so. They can't even afford to print the packages. As a consequence, our nation children would fall into a category of those students whose mental health are affected because they lack resources to stay connected with teachers, friends, and peers. When it comes to the social infrastructure of Muruga Tableland, if nothing is done, if no releases is given, my constituents would be left behind. I take you to the agriculture sector in Muruga Tableland, and by extension, Trinidad and Tobago. Agriculture is a major source of potential in our constituents to provide jobs. However, it is underutilized and operating at suboptimal level. Why? Because as stated previously, agricultural access roads have not been serviced in over 6 years. There is no support for our farmers. This minister would have said he is responsible for the locusts, that he would assist, and he has not. These are some of the burdens affecting our farmers. The fisher folk in Larafin were promised a jetty that has not materialized. Politics is being played with the Grand Chimay fishing facility. Our shores are not manned, so our fisher folk are fearful to go out at sea. And these are the woes of the agriculture sector in Muruga Tableland. But I want to raise here tonight another woe of this heartless PNM government. I want to bring to the nation awareness that in all of this, that this government is serving quit notices to over 20 farmers in Platinate area. How can this government do such a thing in such a time like this? And I state here tonight that this is the most unpatriotic act that a government can perpetrate on its farmers, especially during a pandemic where local food production around the world has become the #1 priority. Rather than support the farmers, the government has chosen to oppress them. And this here is one of these notices. How can this government be so heartless? Why are we only reactive? Where is the proactive thinking we need for the development of our economy, our contribution to the national stability? I have written to the agricultural minister, to the agricultural society. I am pleading for support for my farmers. When it comes to healthcare, COVID-19 has affected every constituent in Muruga Tableland. COVID-19 has affected Trinidad and Tobago, but our healthcare services have not been upgraded. Imagine having a constituent call to access an ambulance. MP, it's been 6 hours I have been calling, and the ambulance service have not arrived. What is this government doing? Why can't Muruga Tableland have a proper health facility? Why is there no 24 hours health services in Muruga Tableland at a time like this? Imagine leaving from Marak to reach Princestown. That commute alone is over 2 hours. For an ambulance to reach a constituent, sometimes it takes 4 hours. We need assistance in our health services in Muruga Tableland. I am pleading on the Minister of Health to address this. Our tourism sector is neglected. As stated by Councillor Joseph Laurent, it is a sector that could produce employment, yet no support is being given. no releases for the corporation to do anything with regards to local tourism site. And this is not only the cry of Moruga Tableland, this is the cry of every regional corporation. What is this government doing? The study of tourism often serves as the first entry into the point of work, especially for women. This government would have said that they are here to support vulnerable women, but they are not putting things in place to assist. We need jobs. Again, I would like to point out some facilities where taxpayers' money was invested. We have the Moruga Multipurpose Youth and Sporting Facility, the Moruga Agro Processing Plant. Millions spent, and to date, it is not operating. Big, and I would like to say grand, opening before elections, another mama guy, and to date, it is not operating. What is this government doing more than mama guy? And that is true talk. All we get is broken promises from this administration. When it comes to the unemployment rate in Moruga Tableland, when I say it is 95%, this is because before elections, we had over 42 CPEP crews in Moruga Tableland. To date, the government is on a rampage in pulling these contracts. They no longer need the constituents to vote, so they don't care. We have over 200 persons as of the end of March out of jobs. These persons are single parents. And as of midnight tonight, these persons are further affected. How are they to feed their families? But the Prime Minister said there is no money to support small businesses and individuals. Trinidad and Tobago, it's time for change. Enough is enough. We have to stand together to remove this PNM administration. This is True Talk Thursday. And in True Talk Thursday, we give you facts. The facts that this government don't care. The facts that they would have lied to us before elections. The facts that they would have awarded contracts and they are not upholding it. The facts that they only care about their friends and family. And this is apparent, not only in my constituents, but across Trinidad and Tobago. The facts on True Talk Thursday, this government is the worst. We would have seen the Prime Minister make statements that he is not going to support, that the country has no money. And I have to keep raising that because the country has money to award contracts and briefs to friends and family, but the country has no money to support you, the citizens, the tax-paying citizens. Are we standing for that? Are we standing for yet another lockdown with no support? Trinidad and Tobago, I ask you this tonight. And in conclusion, you may wonder if these challenges have been raised. Yes, they have. Several platforms ventilated by my leader and all my colleagues. But yet, this PNM government will only give us empty promises as stalled-in tactics. Families in need have sought housing, assistance, and improvement grants to no avail. This government is not being truthful. Self-help cannot pay the hardwares. I have families that are victims, fire victims, that cannot get a self-help grant. What is this government doing? Under the partnership, however, when people came first, this assistance used to come in a few days. But this government do not put people before politics. My political leader did, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. would have been out in a time like this, reaching out to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But yet this Rowley administration, they don't care. They make statements, and as the saying goes, who vex loss? Are we going to digest that? My constituency is showing 47 years of P&M neglect, but we are going to stand against that. The constituents of Moruga Tableland are quite fed up, but I will continue to use every avenue possible to raise our concerns and frustrations. I thank you. But before I close tonight, I want to wish my party the happy 32nd anniversary. Since we can't celebrate together, we have a short video presentation to commemorate this occasion. And I wish you all the best, my fellow members of the United National Congress. I hope you enjoy.
When I think about the United National Congress, I think about a growing economy. I think about family, and I think about people-centered leadership. Happy anniversary, UNC.
Happy 32nd anniversary to the United National Congress on reaching this really superb milestone. From the moment I've been in the UNC, we have never moved far from our moorings, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have always stood for the poor, for the dispossessed, for giving a hand up. We have stood for basic principles about people and family and education.
I see the UNC as the only true national political party in Trinidad and Tobago, and the only political party with a plan, determination, and will to move and progress Trinidad and Tobago forward for the benefit of all.
Happy anniversary to the leader, my colleagues, and all the members of the United National Congress. The UNC has very honorable beginnings in the labor movement, and we've always stood for the rights and the freedoms of people of this country.
On the occasion of the 32nd anniversary of the glorious United National Congress, I would like to extend happy anniversary greetings to our visionary leadership and membership of this great organization.
I'd like to say happy 32nd anniversary to the great party, United National Congress, which I feel proud to be a part of and serve. Under our astute leadership, Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, it is a party that is people-centered and that puts the needs of the people first before friends, family and financiers.
To my brothers and sisters of the United National Congress, happy anniversary as we celebrate our 32nd year in trying to advance the programs, social, economic, of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
The United National Congress stands for a healthcare system that provides adequate and timely healthcare for all of our citizens. Happy anniversary, UNC.
On behalf of the UNC, Tunapunopiak Regional Corporation, Minority Leader, Councillors and Aldermen, we are proud to be a part of our great party, the United National Congress, and would like to take this opportunity to wish our party a happy 32nd anniversary. We continue to stand proud behind our astute leadership, our political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar.
Happy anniversary, the United National Congress. Long live the UNC, long live Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. 32 years of great leadership, great party, long live the UNC.
The UNC represents that beacon of hope that good governance will return, just as the rising sun illuminates the land after the darkest night with beams of light.
Happy 32nd anniversary to the United National Congress.
When we think of the UNC, we envisage a better quality of life for all. We think of proper representation to those most in need.
Happy anniversary, UNC!
this is love to the max. And when we tell them, Manel, Douglas politics, this is Douglas politics, yo. Douglas politics.